Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm giving you a blood bag review on Stranger Things Season 1. Obviously I'm doing this because Season 4 just released fully, and I will do reviews on Seasons 2, 3, and 4 sometime later this year. Probably Season 2 I'd assume I'd do probably anywhere in the next 2 weeks. And if I do it next week, Season 3 will be a week after. And Season 4 will probably be in August, if not September at the latest. But anyway, so Stranger Things Season 1. This is the season that started it all and made this show. Like, this show, when it dropped, let's start with its creation. I'm getting a bit ahead of myself. Let's start with the show's creation. So this show was created by a pair of brothers, being Matt and Ross Duffer. They created the show to be a sort of... Obviously, yes, it's a thing that they made for the time frame of the 80s. Very much like the Amblin movies of the 80s, which is the company that Spielberg owned. And this thing is very much a combination of lots of genres: sci-fi, horror, fantasy, comedy, what you have. Basically a lot of genres, and Netflix was so confident that this show would succeed that they bought it less than 24 hours after the Duffers pitched it to them. And, I mean, it paid off. Stranger Things is their most popular show, according to some people. Now, let's get into why this show works as well as it does. So this show follows a central cast of people around 4 friends, and those 4 friends are Mike, Will, Lucas, and Dustin. And these 4 boys are so likable, and they just have so much good friendship, chemistry, to the point where, when you watch the first scene where they're playing D&D in Mike's basement, you immediately click with them. And you get to know and like them immediately. And that's probably a good tribute to all 4 actors who actually became good friends, like, through this entire thing. From audition to now, they've become great friends due to the show. And you can very well tell that just from that first scene where they're playing D&D alone. And then obviously we have the other cast members. Obviously Eleven's another standout one, which she is very much, in Season 1 at least, she obviously is a superhuman, we'll say. I mean, obviously you've seen this whole fucking show. And Eleven, she is very much kind of inept to social cues in Season 1. Granted, she was kept in a lab place for most of her life up to then. But she's played very well by Millie Bobby Brown, and she's another reason why this show, works. She's a nice round out to everyone. But now getting into the other cast. Other characters, we have all the kids' families. I mean, granted, they're not really that important. At least here for Season 1, they're really not that important. For, Mike, Dustin, and Lucas's families, they're not really that important for Season 1, and I probably won't mention them much besides here. But now we have Will's family with Joyce and with Joyce's mom and his older brother Jonathan. So obviously this entire show, for the majority of Season 1, focuses on Mike, Dustin, and Lucas and Will's family trying to find him because he gets taken by some upside-down creature to the Upside Down. And they're trying to find out what happened to him. And then, obviously, then the 3 boys come across Eleven, who uses her psychic powers to try and help them. and they're being chased by, and Eleven's getting chased by this evil doctor named Matthew Brenner. But probably another person who rounds out the cast is David Harbour as Police Chief Jim Hopper. This guy has very much been, weighted down by the reality of life. This guy is a drunk, first off, but he's a genuine good guy who does truly want to help. And, trust me, there's a lot of stuff with Jim in this series, but again, we're only sticking to season 1. So then, obviously, now moving from the great characters and cast, which we are going to move on to the creature, the Demogorgon himself. First off, the design is just instantly iconic. The xenomorph looking body, which is still humanoid in some level, but it kind of does remind, the design does give me xenomorph vibes, obviously. I don't know if they took the xenomorph as inspiration, it just gives me those vibes when you look at it. And to be fair, both the xenomorph and Demogorgon kind of act pretty similar. But the Demogorgon, the thing that makes it stand out is that it's flower petal head. It is instantly iconic with those flower petals, and it's just, it's so good. The note, it was to bring this thing to life, it was a mixture of practical and visual effects. It was about half and half. And it's terrifying. If it were to go up against some of the other monsters that we'll be seeing later in this series, it would not stand a chance. But the Demogorgon is arguably one of the most iconic parts of this show. And then we have, trying to think, man. Keep thoughts straight. But I think the main selling point of this show was, and why it's so good, is that it's a very similar thing to why Chapter 1 did so well, is that the acting is just, between everyone, is just so great. From the kid characters, which, it's just so good. And this show it's gone down in infamy as one of the most iconic things to come out of modern day horror. It's just so good. There's really no other words I could say. Stranger Things Season 1 is great. Now, just because it's great doesn't mean it's perfect. There is some notable issues. One, I'm just gonna say it. Okay, brain, keep your thoughts straight. I'm really trying here, man. It's super late. But some of the negatives here is that the show does at times feel, I guess, a bit clunky with scenes, because, and this is kind of a thing that's with every single season, I'd say. I'll touch more on this, is that granted, it may not be a huge complaint, but every episode feels like it's super jumbled, because there are a lot of plot points because there's so many plot points in each episode that have to be continued. Like, say you're going to have a plot point with Mike, Lucas, Dustin, and Eleven, and then there's also going to be a plot point with Joyce and Jonathan, and then there's also a plot point with Jim. It's a lot at once, and in later seasons, it kind of remains stagnant. I mean, I'll admit, it kind of does lessen a bit in Season 3. Season 4, there's a lot of plot stuff, but the episodes are a bit longer in Season 3. 4, fuck. The episodes are a bit longer in Season 4, so I guess it's not that bad, but I'll touch up on that stuff when we get to those seasons. But yeah, it does feel a little disjumbled and clunky with all the plot points that you have to get addressed in every single one. And, also, and another thing I want to bring up is that, actually, was that the only complaint I had? Brain, keep thinking. Alright. Sorry, I'm just tapping into my brain because it's so fucking late. But overall, this show is great. The acting is great. The characters are great. The creature effects, both digital and practical, are amazing. The score, which, oh god, it's so good. And yeah, putting season 1 of Stranger Things into the old blood bag here, I'd say solid 96. I think it's a well-crafted show, and trust me, the later seasons get even better in some regards, and we'll get to those when we gotta talk about them. But yeah, hope y'all enjoyed this video. Leave a like if you did, and subscribe if you'd like my content, and I'll see y'all next time. Bye-bye.